There's a recent update to DaVinci Resolve. It's 20.1. There are some really cool features in there. I want to go over the ones that are part of the free version of DaVinci Resolve. The first upgrade to talk about in the free version is the easy search and apply for your effects. So by hitting Shift and Spacebar, you get a pop-up search, and that's for transitions, for color space transforms. Let's do an example here. I often use the solid color under photos when I'm doing interviews. So if I type in solid, you can see the three that come up. You get the logo next to it. Select that. It adds it right into the timeline where my playhead is. The cool thing about this is it has a history to it. So if you end up using the same 3 or 4 features, it'll store that underneath the search. So here in the color page, when you're doing that, if I hit color space transform, now when you select it, it's going to add it to whatever you have highlighted. So in this case, I had node number 2 highlighted on this clip. So just be careful with that. It's not just going to bring it up, it's going to add it to your timeline or add it to your node. There's another easy way to do this that has nothing to do with the 20.1 update. If there's a particular transition effect, what you can do is add it to your favorites. For example, select on the transition effect, whatever it is, and if you hit the star next to it, that'll add it to your favorites. Next up is guides and rulers. I was really excited when I saw that this was an update because one of the things I really miss about Final Cut is having that thirds grid to be able to edit in or line things up in. Yeah, you want to get that right in camera, but for me it helps for placing titles and looking for broadcast safe zones, that kind of thing. The way that you do that is, let's go into the edit page. Up here you're going to click down on this little box that's next to, if you're using HQ or proxy, up by the inspector under the word metadata. So when you drop that down, the first 3 rows were always there. And that's your different social media guidelines. Down here, you've noticed that they've added rulers and guides. So when I click on these, nothing seems to happen. So this is where I don't know if maybe it's a plus for somebody. I'm a little disappointed for, I know, but you have to kind of draw in your own guideline like this. If I wanted to set up a thirds grid, and then same thing from the top, you would drag it down. That would be the equivalent of a thirds grid, although I don't feel like that's an actual true thirds grid. It'd be nice if they did all the work for me. Maybe it makes sense because there are different aspect ratios or display ratios that you're working in. But here's another little trick for you. Let's say you are shooting something in the 2.35 display ratio. What you can do is go into timeline, select output blanking, and from there you can select, so let's do 2.40. And if you notice, let me turn this off, what it does to the project. Now this project was 16:9, but that keeps everything in that display ratio. The next feature, anywhere that your cursor is, when you press C, the playhead will go to the cursor. When you move the cursor, you have to double click to get the playhead back on there. Now you have a keyboard shortcut. You just hit C and it goes right to where your mouse cursor is on the timeline. The next feature in 20.1 is a subclip creation from the edit timeline. What this shortcut does is saves you some time creating another timeline. If you just want to take a section of your timeline and create a subclip, aka another timeline, mark an in and an out on your current timeline. You'll see the gray bar over the section that you want. I can right click and that's create subclip is the first option that comes up. Or I can do keyboard shortcut Command B. And that creates a subclip. If I go back to my media pool, I can now see that I have timeline 1. And if I click on timeline subclip, it's just that section. If you have a long form video that's in wide screen and you want to create a vertical clip, doing the subclip is going to keep it in that same display ratio. And if you change that, you're going to change your main project as well. So there's a clip here that I made on how to do that. Basically, you want to do Option N to create a new timeline, unclick where it says to use the same video specs, and there's where you would select your vertical timeline. Another feature that was added, and that's where you could insert only your video or only your audio. Once I pull my clip up, I have this drop down here that now says to insert video and audio, or I can choose to insert video only or audio only. You have that option to only insert the video, audio, or both. So these are not the only updates in the free version. There are changes to different codecs that the timeline will take. It's very friendly with the Ursa 12K, which I don't use. There are also some updates when it comes to immersive video, in particular with Apple Vision. I don't work with any of that, so I'm staying in my lane. I felt like these were the ones that were important to me and people who primarily just do basic editing, video editing in DaVinci Resolve. So these are some pretty cool updates. It's definitely worth updating. If there's an update that I didn't talk about, please let me know. I'd love to know what update or feature you're using. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself.